Welcome to the Spare Parts Racing Podcast, your podcast for all things motorsports. With your hosts, Sean Chavarella, Stephen Clary, and Taylor Moore.
Hear that music?
Hello, and welcome to another week's episode of Spare Parts Racing. I'm your host, Sean.
I'm Steven.
And I'm Taylor.
And yeah, we're back this week after unexpectedly missing last week. I mean, like, in our defense,
Life.
you were busy. Me and Steven we had a playoff run in hockey that ended last night, sadly. But, like, you know, we won, we kept winning, which we didn't expect to do. So that's why we didn't have time to record. Then we had a concert. Anyway, it was just a lot going on. Exactly.
It was a big for us all.
It's not like we missed the biggest, most controversial thing in NASCAR in the last, like, fucking 5 years or anything like that.
Nah, it was a quiet week. Quiet week.
Exactly.
Oh, boy.
It was like, you know, oh, it's just one NASCAR race. What's the worst that could happen? Well, okay, that happened.
Yeah.
We can talk about that if you want.
Well, because we also did the Blink concert on Thursday. I think we were talking. It's like, it won't be that bad. There's only the one race this weekend. The other two are still on summer break. It's fine. It's whatever. Like, not a whole lot of summer news coming out.
Yep.
It'll be fine. Biggest jinx. Shocker.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we can talk about that. We got some other races to talk about. IndyCar had some controversy. NASCAR continued its controversy. F1's back this week. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of new stuff we can dive into too and talk about that. But yeah, where do you guys want to begin with this this wonderful episode we're gonna have?
Why don't we start with the NASCAR stuff, because you've kind of already alluded to it, so...
Yeah, it's great. We're only a week late to a topic here that everyone has already beaten to death.
Well, but then the fun part, I was going to say, the fun part is it's still being debated because it's still not over yet. Well, I guess less so debated versus it's still relevant, thankfully.
Fair. Okay, so I want everyone's quick take on it. You have 30 seconds to say how you feel about Austin Dillon's win, penalty, and everything that go like that, okay? And it's going to be 30 seconds. I have the timer.
Okay.
Who wants to go first?
I'm happy to go first because it's going to be a lot less than 30 seconds.
Okay,
I'm highly uneducated with this.
Okay. That's it? Is that your 30 seconds?
Yep.
Okay, it's just you're uneducated on it? Okay. Well, Steven?
It's simple. We've left the floor for lots of ideas.
Fair enough. Steven, you're up.
Fuck the playoffs for doing this to us. That's basically, that's the big thing, or the big takeaway. It's, I don't know, because, we'll get into it more after the 30 seconds, but, it's a bit of a weird gray zone, but if there's no playoffs, this doesn't even happen. Simple as that.
Okay. You had 5 seconds to go, but good enough. I'll use my 5 seconds to say, I think Austin Dillon gets absolutely robbed on this. I think him being penalized for it is absolutely bullshit, and I think it's NASCAR trying to cover their own ass for creating this entire situation to begin with.
AKA fuck the playoffs.
Actually, it's actually... No, I'm fine with the playoffs. Playoffs can absolutely stand. But,
or the win-and-in style of the playoffs.
No, win-and-in is completely fine. And now my 30 seconds is over, and we can get into it.
Okay, yes.
So, for Taylor that's uninformed, what happened was... Did you see it at all? Do you know any of this?
Okay. The only thing that I've seen is that, an incident happened, and Hamlin and Logano, I think, were wrecked by Dillon to win the race.
Yes.
Yep.
Essentially.
Dillon basically in the third and fourth corner, the final corner of Richmond, sent it in deep, slammed Logano out of the way, spun him. Then Hamlin tried to come up the inside. He went hard left and right hooked him into the wall to go on and win. And yeah, a lot of controversy, a lot of bullshit there. And I think what he did, yeah, it's stupid. It's bullshit. Wrecking guys for the win. It's not a good thing. However, he should have been the winner, though. He got fucked out of the win because of NASCAR rules, and then used those rules to his advantage to then get back to the win. And NASCAR says you can keep the win, but you cannot keep the playoff spot. I think that's a very good synopsis, is it not?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Yeah, because like Logano or Dylan was having a very good day. If you run it to regular distance and no overtime, he probably ends up winning. Right?
No, he absolutely wins. He was winning.
Or yeah.
And a caution came out with 2 laps to go.
Yeah.
Because fucking Stenhouse,
yeah, can't keep it on the road.
No, he fucking wrecked someone else doing the same move. He dove into someone and spun someone in the I can't remember who it was in the last corner. And got us a caution with 3 to go.
Yeah.
And that just... And it wasn't even, like, close. Like, Austin Dillion had, like, I want to say, like, a 2 to 4 second gap on second place. He was running away with it. He was going to win and be in on merit. But no, we can't have that. We're going to have overtime. He loses the lead in overtime to Logano. Logano kind of pulls like a 3-4 car length advantage, and then he sends it and takes him out.
Yep.
And then hooks Hamlin. Like, I don't understand the whole penalty thing. Like, he keeps everything essentially. He still is marked as the winner, but it doesn't count to the playoffs. What doesn't count to the playoffs for that?
Just the win.
Which that doesn't make sense though. Like, and this is where I'm pissed off with NASCAR is that like the entire like the rule book is just like make it up as you go.
Yeah.
If you were to say, okay, hey, listen, you got to be suspended for a race for that move.
Yeah.
We're suspending you for a race from that terrible move. You're out of the playoffs because you miss a race. That's why.
Okay, I see. So you're saying that he maybe shouldn't be in the playoffs, but for a different reason or in a different way, essentially.
Again, I don't like how NASCAR basically worded everything. Of basically, his penalty is he keeps the win. He still lists it as the win. His spotter gets suspended 3 races.
Yep.
For saying, because his spotter was yelling, wreck him.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're just saying, no, you can't be in the playoffs on that win. You have the rules in place to make someone not be in the playoffs. If you want to send a message that wrecking a guy and like intentionally wrecking him can be punished, the punishment should be a race suspension. It's like, hey, yeah, you turned on this guy. We have the data. You hooked him into the wall. Yeah, you're going to get a 1 race suspension. That's going to teach guys not to fucking do that and try to set some kind of leeway going forward, or some kind of not leeway, but I guess set a precedent going forward that NASCAR will take these things seriously. So you're not going to have the next time at a short track like Martinsville or something, someone's going to run over the back of someone just to get a win. It's not like we have any scenarios in the playoffs where a short track immediately is a knockout part or something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, when you put it that way, I think that's the right way to look at.
I haven't seen anyone mention that though.
Yeah.
How NASCAR actually has the tools in place to get the result they want, but they are not doing that.
Well, it's NASCAR. What do you expect?
Fucking something of competence, but apparently not.
After the
I
last
was
like
literally
what?
gonna say the same thing.
The last like 6 years, you really expect that?
Well, no. I'm just assuming every single CEO of NASCAR is just a drunk at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it pisses me off. And like, to be honest, I feel bad because this is if there is no overtime in NASCAR, you can have your playoffs. Playoffs can be fun and fine.
Mm-hmm.
If there is no overtime and there's none of this, you have to finish under a green flag bullshit. If you run the race distance to the race distance and make that the race, you put a little more emphasis on where guys are on the last lap. You don't have guys making stupid moves to maybe, oh, if I don't make it, I'll get an overtime. And then you have this great story of how RCR, who has had a terrible season, threw together a perfect race. And, yeah, they got lucky with the caution at the end, but they weren't going to get caught anyway. Like, if you just ditch overtime, I'm fine with the playoffs. I could live with stages. I cannot live with overtime, stages, and playoffs. Like, it just... I always think back to, like, the iceberg video of, like, the... damn illegitimacy for NASCAR. Great video. Yeah. And every single time there's an incident like this, it's just like, yeah, it's taking the legitimacy out of the sport. Drives me crazy.
Yeah. Yep. No, it's just there's so many holes that you can poke in every single part of NASCAR's logic with this. Like you said, that part makes a ton of sense, and it's not even being discussed whatsoever. And it's just, how do you let this happen in the first place? So, but I guess in the end, so to get fully caught up on the last 2 weeks since that race, I guess at this point, there's been RCR's first appeal that got denied, and I think they have until Monday to appeal again and do a final appeal, which is also fucking stupid that you're going to take 3 weeks to decide this.
I think they should keep appealing it because based on the rules NASCAR has, you can't just say, yes, you win, but you're not in because of arbitrary you did something. Because it's not like not like the last time someone's wrecked someone for the win. We're going to Daytona this weekend. What do you think's going to happen there?
Yeah, well, and that's the other thing people were pointing out, that, like, yeah, Hamlin and Logano were super pissed off, but then everybody's pulling all these clips of when they've moved a guy to either win or move into a top 10 or do something. And it's like, yeah, like, this is... wrecking guys is kind of part of it. Not like...
NASCAR is a contact sport.
Yeah. Now you can say...
Yeah.
Well, what Dylan did... deliberately driving into guys, like, because some of the videos that came out were just, yeah, I'm gonna try and move him, and I'm just hitting his bumper square and hard. Doesn't necessarily mean he's gonna crash, but if he crashes, he crashes.
I didn't want for that to happen, but I was just trying to move him. Yeah, it's the same bullshit.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, we'll see what happens with the appeal. Come, I guess, Monday at this point.
Yep.
The fact you're going to take 3 weeks to figure this out is a little bit bullshit, too.
And, like, look at NASCAR, like, this season when you've had, 3 photo finishes. Like, some of the best finishes in NASCAR in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't one a natural one, too? Like, no overtime?
I think so. I can't remember.
Like, one of those photo finishes was actually, like, not with overtime. Like, it just occurred naturally.
Yeah.
I thought so. I could be misremembering. Anyway, and then you get this overtime shit where it's now just like, and guys are wrecking each other for the win. Like, the polar opposite of NASCAR here. Like, great finish. What are we doing with the sport?
Yeah.
Like, this is what I want to see. This is not. And I think most fan base kind of agrees that you don't want to see guys just taking guys out. Because then you are no longer a racing series. You are just a demolition derby. And the goal is not to race, but to just survive.
Yep. Then everything just becomes, what is it, Daytona?
Yeah.
/ Talladega / any super speedway.
Yeah.
Hope you're there on the last lap and then see what happens.
And speaking of super speedway, we then go from NASCAR at Richmond to then NASCAR at Michigan for the last weekend. Which, honestly, I thought was one of the best races of the year.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, I thought it was really good.
Michigan was really well done.
You had a good enough aero package that guys could catch up to the leader. The leader couldn't pull away. But you still had to have the correct tires and setup and line to make a move and pass. Like, it wasn't just like you're getting up to a guy's slingshot and go around him. You could get up to him and get close, But and like it was good to see some guys make it their way to the front and then slowly start fading back. Other guys would come through it. The 2311 cars looked fucking fantastic. Bubba got taken out by Kyle Larson, who, according to the internet, is the best driver in the world. That was a thing for the last 2 weeks.
Right, of course.
It still is this week.
Apparently so. I mean, we had him, what, second or third? What did we have?
I think
I
second,
think we had him second.
'Cause we did do this ourselves. We said second.
third.
Was it third?
Put Pillow
Was
above
it?
him.
I stand by
Yep.
that.
I don't, but
I
I
do.
disagreed. I said disagreed with that order to begin with. So
Nah, I stand by that.
Didn't you
Anywho.
put him at first?
we can get into that too later.
Okay,
so.
fine. We can finish off with that then too.
Yeah.
So yeah, Michigan was a great race. You had one big wreck where Larson lost it on a restart, trying to make some moves. Took out a whole bunch of guys who
Yeah.
were contending.
I was gonna say that was
Really
the really
pissed me
funny-
off.
That was the really funny part of the whole debate going on, and Larson just loses it by himself.
Yep.
It's like, you're not helping yourself.
Yeah. And did you remember my message on Sunday? Or no, this was Monday because we rained out Sunday.
Yep.
I was like, wow, it's great when 3 to my 5 picks got taken out in one wreck.
Yep.
Yeah, because I had Bubba. I was really hoping that wouldn't pay off. Busher and Bell, and all of them got taken out. I'm like, well, fuck. Thanks, Kyle.
Rough go.
Yeah, it was rough. And then the end of the race, my other 2 guys were second and third, as is tradition.
Yep.
As is tradition. So.
Yep.
Fuck, I hate betting.
You should stop then.
I actually have nothing for this weekend. I don't want to fucking touch.
You don't?
I don't want to touch F1. I don't want to touch Daytona.
I mean, Daytona's just gonna be.
Daytona's a roulette wheel. It is.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. So, do we want to talk about all the penalties that have also come out in the last 2 weeks?
Ooh, absolutely. I had
Because
no idea.
so first we'll go back to. How do I want to do this? Do I want to do this chronological? Yeah. No. You know what? We'll go back to Richmond because Logano, being super pissed off after getting taken out, decided that the best course of action was to do burnouts down the pit lane. Right? You remember that, Sean?
Oh yeah, he basically stopped right in front of their pit box as the crew was
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And
Well, and the
also,
families
like-
were walking out.
Why? I fucking hate families on the pit lane. Like,
Yeah, that's a whole separate thing.
oh, and okay, that actually reminds me also with the whole fucking Austin Dillion thing.
Yeah.
Holding the baby the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
No one's gonna fight him because he's just holding
Yeah.
his kid. It's
Yeah.
like he knew
yeah.
he
Anti-fight.
knew what he was doing. Oh, it was so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, and this is the one thing I hate about NASCAR with the whole stupid like, let's now do the interviews and everything on the front stretch, right in front of everyone. Like, can we go back to having a victory lane when like that's where the family and crew like cheer the driver?
Yeah, they're not walking across a live pit lane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, that doesn't absolve what Hamlin was doing because he basically didn't or stepped out of line.
You mean Logano?
And or Logano, yeah. He basically stepped out of the line and kept doing burnouts all the way down. And even if the family's not there, all the crews were still standing there. And he was only about 2 or 3 feet away from them. So, and I would love to give props to the official that at the end of the onboard clip, wherein he finally stops the car in front of Austin Dillon's pits box, there's an official just coming down, and he's giving Logano a ton of shit
Yeah.
for basically not following procedure.
100%.
So, but yeah. So Logano got, what was it, 50K? Yeah, he got 50K for that. So
Money well
that was
spent.
fun. Yep. And then today, actually, I think this was only like a couple hours ago. Yeah, this was at around 5. Random news that Denny Hamlin has been penalized for a Bristol or an engine issue after his Bristol win, which was back in, when was that? That was like beginning of the year.
That is
Oh,
such a
wow.
ridiculous penalty.
Yeah, but so the basic description or basically what happened is, this is Jeff Gluck's tweet about it. Denny Hamlin is getting a crushing NASCAR L2 penalty for an engine rules violation committed by Toyota. Hamlin loses 75 owner/driver points, 10 playoff points, and crew chief Chris Gabehart has been fined $100,000. Toyota's
Wow.
team tore down and rebuilt one of Hamlin's winning engines before it was inspected by NASCAR, and all winning engines can be used again but must be inspected before they are disassembled. So basically, they didn't let NASCAR's team have a look at the engine.
That's sus.
And this, yeah. Well, and that, but here's the thing: Toyota self-reported this incident. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Sus.
Yeah. So Toyota took responsibility for it. Yeah, it was the race after Bristol. Reviewing procedures, blah blah blah. All the we're gonna do better. Apologize to Denny and the team.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, that's a pretty big penalty for a guy who's still trying to win a playoff or a full
Yeah.
playoffs.
Yeah, I think so. That's
75. Well, so he's locked in either way, but now he's going to be just slightly lower down the cut line. I don't think I know they've updated the regular season standings. I don't think they've updated technically where he stands for playoffs because they still have him second, and I think this would drop him back a little bit. Either way, with 2 races to go, it's going to hurt. So,
yeah.
that was a bit of a surprising one to come out today.
Oh, that's fair.
So,
Huh.
yeah, the fun penalties that keep popping up and will keep getting discussed. So now we'll see. I guess. Well, no, if Toyota self-reported and they're already taking the penalty, they're not going to appeal it. So
No.
maybe they'll appeal for points. I don't know.
Also, I was going to say one thing. NASCAR wise, we forgot to talk about was we had 2 blowovers this weekend.
Yep.
Yeah, 2
Corey
cars.
LaJoy.
Almost the exact same incident. They lose it in the backstretch and whoop, over they go.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah,
oh, I
honestly.
feel like you might have sent that to me.
I did send to everyone, yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone's like, oh my gosh, NASCAR's so dangerous. What if this happens? It's like, well, it used to happen all the time.
Yep. It was more. I think
Yeah.
it was more how it happened because Corey LaJoy's flip was very weird in that he just stepped out of the draft and there was a little bit of contact and then he just sort of went around and flipped.
Yeah, the
Like,
second, second he was sideways, just the wind
Yeah.
air got up underneath it.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
like, I think there was a meteorologist on Twitter. I think he had it like something like 225 mile per hour was like the airspeed around that car.
Wow.
And like, yeah, they're not designed for that speed. Like Michigan is fast, and like they're probably gonna kneecap the engines next year in Michigan. So
Yep. Yay.
yeah, it's only a matter of time till they just destroy Michigan and turn it into like the next Atlanta. Just watch.
Yay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of most of the stuff out of Michigan and NASCAR. Anything else? That it?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, I guess the only other thing would be the real thing we were robbed of from Richmond is the fact that it was a good race
Terrible. ending?
because they Well, no, because it was a good race because NASCAR's actually trying to do stuff to make it more entertaining by bringing in those option tires, basically the soft and hard, and that's what made it a good race until the ending.
Yes, I think it was they were even saying like, was it Hamlin on his podcast was saying like just keep the soft tire, don't bring back the hard tire, just keep the soft one, make that the short track tire, and that would solve most of NASCAR's short track problems.
Yep.
Mm.
So, but yeah, it was cool to see them have like the 2 tire compounds and take a book out of like IndyCar kind of for once. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and because it worked, they probably won't keep it. So, it was fun while it lasted.
I don't think they should keep it, personally.
Oh, you're saying keep the softer tire.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I also like, again, just having the ability to change around strategy. Go for it.
Yeah.
So, anywho, do you want to do, I guess, WWT IndyCar?
Yes. Because that was a good race
That
too.
one was awesome. Yeah, that was a good race.
That was
and there
classic over racing.
Yep, and there was also controversy.
Yes.
So,
Oh boy. Okay, I have no idea what the controversy was for this either. Yeah, I was a very bad race fan this week. I did not watch either of these.
Were you marshalling?
Last weekend? No.
I'm not even gonna ask.
No, I think I was doing something. I can't remember what though.
I can't fix uninterested and fake race fans. You know.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, miss.
Wow.
Miss. I only watch F1. Oh.
It's not even true. That's not even true.
Yeah, we all know your secret love
Anyway.
for super bikes.
Okay, that is the most vile thing you could have ever said.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you an I Heart MotoGP T-shirt.
Ugh, never. Never. I would watch NASCAR over MotoGP any day.
Yeah. Okay. Well, can't wait for Christmas. Anyway. So yeah, IndyCar, fun race. You had multiple strategies. You had guys in different strategies. You had
two lanes.
Two lanes. You had lap traffic and fights all around. And what's one thing I always say about over racing, Steven?
What's that?
Over racing is endurance racing.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yep.
And you had guys on different strategies trying to go long so they could make it on one less pit stop. You had guys running hard and just trying to get away from it. And you had lap traffic that were having their own battles that you had to pick your way through, and you had some reliability issues this race. And it was just everything was happening at once, and there was always something going on, and you really couldn't look away. Like, it was actually just such a good IndyCar race, and it was ruined by essentially the restart. And the reason we got that restart is because Power and Malukas are fighting. They're kind of coming up on some lap traffic. Essentially, it's for the race win, but they aren't fighting for first yet. They're fighting for, I think it's third, because first and second hadn't pit yet, because they're on alternate strategies. Malukas tries to make a move on the inside, and Power kind of just drifts over and squeezes him, and Malukas spins, and he crashes out in turn one. Okay, no real penalty there. Malukas was kind of pissed off and later blamed Power and said he kind of squeezed me, which, yeah, he did. And then you had, in the pit stops, because it was McLaughlin and Newgarden right up front at this point, but they couldn't make it. They dash in for the pit stops, got fresh tires and fuel. Newgarden's crew was fucking ridiculous. They did in like 5.9 seconds.
Yeah. It was stupid quick.
Honestly, it was one of the most impressive IndyCar stops I've ever seen.
It's always impressive when the car that comes in second
comes out first
in the order and leapfrogs and it's not like in NASCAR it's a little more common because you get the 2-tire versus a 4-tire stop.
It was a straight
IndyCar,
but it was a straight shootout because no one else was in the pits. They rushed ahead, beat this because they could go ahead of the safety car. They got in the pits, just the two of them, nose to tail. It came right down to the crews. The two's crew absolutely nailed it. He's back out there. He gets the lead. And then on the fucking restart, he's slow. Newgarden doesn't send it right away. He's kind of backing up the field. They were saying he was like brake checking the field. He didn't. He didn't brake check. He kept his speed. But then and Rossi kind of jump it, and they get into each other, and they wreck and cause a fucking crash. Basically ruins the race. They red flag it for some reason because we have to end under a green flag. Thanks, fucking NASCAR, for getting that in there. So, red flag the race, yada yada. come back 20 minutes later, finish off the last 3 laps. Newgarden does a completely different strategy. Bolts off the beginning, gets ahead, completes his last 4 laps, wins the race. Yay for Newgarden.
Doesn't look back.
No. But on that whole restart and the internet breakdown of it afterwards, it was either McLaughlin was the one checking up, trying to get a run on Newgarden at the start. It was Newgarden was brake checking the field. It was, they threw the green too early, and that spooked the guys. The go in NASCAR, or not NASCAR, IndyCar, I thought was always in the driver, right, on restarts. Because in Indy, they pull off, and the driver has time to wait, and then goes.
Yeah.
And usually when the driver goes, that means green. So I don't know why all of a sudden there's now a restart zone, apparently a gateway they were talking about. He has to maintain a constant speed through there. It's okay, but just the rules seem to be very mixed of what's that one track, what's that the other.
Yeah, and it's mixed between fans too, because I've seen different arguments all over the place of, it should be the starter drops the green and that's when everybody can go. Well, no, it's when the leader takes off.
Yep.
And as long as it's not super late, then the leader decides.
I don't think what Newgarden did was illegal. I don't think he should be penalized for that start. Do I think it was unethical? A little. Not illegal.
Just a little bit.
Just unethical.
Little naughty.
A flavor.
Again, it's okay. It's kind of again, it's back to the whole Richmond thing. Should it be illegal? Probably. I don't think so. Is it unethical? Yeah.
Maybe.
Yes. So illegal, no. Unethical, yes. So anyway, that if he had just gunned it off the start there, he had fresh tires. He could have beat McLaughlin and probably won it. There's not an issue. We're talking about, everyone being happy with how that race ended. It's probably one of the best races. But no, it's the year of fucking racing this year, and everything has to be a controversy, and no one can just be happy anymore. We can't have just a normal race. Everyone's galaxy braining it on the track.
Yep. Well, because then you had Power. So it was Rossi who went up Power's ass, and then I think Daly tried to avoid it. He caught Rossi. Then you had Power hopping over the wall,
Flipping
and
off.
then because they were bringing everybody through the pit lane to avoid all the debris. Yeah, Power flips off his teammate, thinking it's his fault.
Though apparently, they have some kind of resolution. I think there was Power offered extended an olive branch to Newgarden. I think I saw. It's because he fucking realized that he was the one that fucked up to begin with.
Yeah.
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 Though my favorite part of the entire night was Power storming through the pit lane. Oh, I can't remember who's the pit lane reporter for NBC. I can't remember. He goes to ask him a question, and you can see the overhead. He's talking to him, and you just see Power just go "fuck off" and turn around, and then he just immediately does a spin around and he's fine, do the interview, and he meant from just steaming was "fuck off" to literally within 3 seconds, the camera in front of him doing the interview. It's I respect that he was able to turn it on. Just like that, because he is just fuming, and he didn't drop a single swear in the entire interview, and it was actually I was that is the most impressive PR I have ever seen.
Yeah,
He had a lot of willpower.
Hey, you know what? You haven't contributed much this episode, but I'll give that to you, Taylor. Way to go! You contributed some way.
I did.
And it was probably Kevin Lee. Or Marty Snyder.
Maybe it was Marty.
I think it might have been Marty.
Because it wasn't Kevin. Oh, speaking of, Lee Diffie is going to be doing NASCAR the rest of the year. He's no longer doing IndyCar, so that's kind of sad. But
that's the thing. Mixed feelings, because now NASCAR will be fun to listen to, but we'll get more of him in the end, because IndyCar we're somehow already down to the last 3 races of the year.
Yep.
So
Portland.
That's fucking depressing.
What was it? It's got Portland next, then.
Oh, sorry, 4 races, because there's the double at Milwaukee.
Oh, Milwaukee's double. Okay, nice. Yeah. Listen, if we have at Milwaukee, but we had at Gateway, which I think are very two similar tracks, I think that's phenomenal. You
Yep.
could have a
and then
very
it's-
good couple races at the end of the year.
Yeah, and then it's Nashville.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for the end of the IndyCar season.
Yep. It'll be fun.
Yay.
Fun, but at the same time over far too quickly. As it always seems to be. Oh well.
Like title your sex tape? Hey. Sorry, I had to. Just sitting right there.
Low hanging fruit.
No, I'm not gonna touch that one either.
Sure.
You know,
Good idea.
God damn it, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, and also in exciting NASCAR broadcast news, they are gonna run no commercial like side by side the rest of the season. I think they said.
Oh my gosh.
Or not for the
Wow.
season, but at least for the Daytona race, I saw for sure.
It's all going to be
weekend,
green. All
Yeah.
green flags will be televised.
Yes, no
Wow.
full ads, always side by side, which I think is phenomenal.
That is a massive step up with their broadcasting because holy crap, is it horrible to watch sometimes. It's just like you want to watch the racing, but my gosh, so
Yeah.
many commercials.
That's why my favorite thing to watch is TSN for IndyCar. No commercials.
Hmm.
Just gonna
TSN
watch
Plus?
everything. It's really good. If you could have more sports with less commercials, I think that's a perfectly good thing. No. Yeah. What else do we got? Anything else in news?
Well, I guess it was somewhat alluded to it because he was in the incident, but Connor Daly officially piloting the 78 through the end of the season.
Oh yeah,
and
we
he
did talk
brought
about
it.
that.
Well, it wasn't
No,
official. I think.
No, because we were
it was
bringing up the
tested.
idea of who was going to film. We said like a vet should probably do it.
Yeah, and then he ended up doing his test, and then like 3 days later, it's like, yep, he's gonna do it the rest of the year. Which I mean, again, makes sense. It's an oval guy. When of your last 5 races, 4 of them are ovals. Makes sense. He even after getting involved when he on that restart, he still brought it home 13th. Which could Canapino do that? Probably not. Maybe.
No.
The best I can give him is he probably wouldn't have been in the incident, probably because he wouldn't have been close enough, because he would have been at the back of the field somewhere. So
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
the most I can give him.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, and then the slightly surprising news to some that David Malukas is going to AJ Foyt for multiple years, starting next year.
But I don't think that's too crazy now, because you have the Foyt Penske partnership.
Right.
So this could
Right.
essentially be going to the Penske B team. So, yeah. I think interesting right now in IndyCar a silly season is the Alexander Rossi question.
Yeah.
There is a chance he is not full-time next year.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, just depends on who's got seats left at this point, because Ganassi's going down to 3, I think, too. That's the other little bit that's come out recently. And if they go down to 3, there's 2 seats gone for a top team.
Yeah.
We-
I mean, like,
Wow.
if you're Ganassi and you have the 3, who do you think is going to be left in the 3?
The 3 guys that are currently sitting at the top of the championship.
Exactly.
It's not Kiffin Simpson, I can tell you that.
it's not him,
His-
and it's not
his-
Rasmussen.
Yep, his check cleared for this year, so
Yeah. So
Yeah.
where are you finding these seats? And now you got to either go to crappier teams. I mean, I think it should be a no-brainer for a guy like Rossi to be still in the series.
yeah,
However,
because he's what, 7th right now, 9th.
9th in points.
Yep. So, top 10 driver in the series.
And you're gonna put him where?
It's $1 million question.
Yeah, like
We will have to see.
Let's see that. I'm just gonna try to pull it up here. Yada.
Okay, while you're pulling that up, I was gonna say, with the Malukas announcement though, Jack Harvey is just like screaming somewhere, or is like it's like the scene in Interstellar where it's just, no, don't do it.
Yeah.
So,
Pretty much everyone has like actually when it comes to like seats for next year, Andretti's full, McLaren's full, Ganassi's full because they're going down to 3. Penske's full. Everywhere else is open apparently.
Okay.
I feel bad for a guy like Rossi to be, if he is out of a seat and out of the series. Just absolutely ridiculous that fan favorite drivers can be out very quickly.
Yeah.
And like, who are we really? Do we really want a guy like, no offense, Marcus Armstrong, or do you want Alexander Rossi?
Yeah.
Also, if I'm Chip Ganassi, maybe I'm giving Armstrong maybe the boot. He hasn't had a good season this year, but
Yeah.
No, but he's still young, right? So
then put him in one of the other teams to develop. Keep your team the top one, and if you want to hold a driver close, you have a partnership with the team, and you put a driver you want to keep a relationship with in that team.
yeah.
Like, I get it. You want to keep these young guys and have them grow. Like, you want to pull a Pelot, basically, for all these guys. But at the end of the day, some of these guys are not going to do it. And there's better options you can put your seat in. And, like, in the last, let's say 6 years, not even, let's say 5 years, having guys like Hinch, who just dropped out of the series because no one wanted them, couldn't get funding. Guys like Rossi, can you imagine Rossi having to be a pay driver, having to find sponsorship to get into the series? Ridiculous.
That would be weird.
Again, now that I think should be illegal and unethical.
Yeah.
All of
Basically,
the above.
this is Sean saying we lost Hinch far too soon.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I love him in the booth. I really do.
Yes, but
Yeah. he's
Townsend,
great.
take a hike.
Oh, yes.
But yeah.
So.
Oh, did you see also in sad news for Canadian race stuff? Matt Clark can't finish the season.
I did see that.
Oh, why?
Funding.
He's having financial. Yeah, he's just
Oh,
had
that
financial
sucks.
troubles.
Doesn't have the money to finish out the season, which is such bullshit.
Yeah, that sucks.
And like
Oh my God.
I'm terrified what's going to happen to him is what's going to happen to the last good Canadian that was coming up through the ranks, which was Parker Thompson. Same thing, got to this level, which was the Indy Pro 2000, or I think back then was the Pro Massa Series. Successful, can win, can prove you're competent. You lose the funding, and you lost funding, and then all of a sudden, you then have to rebuild a career.
And where's Parker Thompson now?
I mean, he's racing in IMSA. He's racing for
I thought
He's racing for
I thought he was also. Yeah, I thought he was also doing like pit lane reporting.
Oh, he
part-time
did that for 1 year.
for trucks. No, I thought he was still
my.
doing it for trucks.
Oh, is
'Cause I
he?
still see him. I think he still pops up on NASCAR's YouTube page from time to time.
Yeah, I
So.
didn't know because I just knew he was doing the IMSA with Vester Sullivan.
Yep.
And they've won races this year. Like he's
He's a good driver,
yeah, he is. It's just
but like again, he's not necessarily racing where he wanted to end up because of the funding.
yeah, and
Right, yeah.
again, back to the whole limited seats in IndyCar and losing a guy like Rossi or having young talent that can make it, but some fucking teenager you'd never heard of who just happens to throw money at something can get a full-time seat. I don't know. I don't get it.
You still have to buy that Kiffin Simpson shirt. By the way,
If Rossi loses his seat and Kiffin's in the series next year, I will fucking, I don't know, burn it, buy one and burn one. I don't know. I'll be pissed off.
Buy one and burn one.
But I gotta support Kiffin. Go Kiffin, go! Yay!
Oh, boy.
I've brought this on myself, haven't I?
yes,
Damn
yes,
it.
you did. You did it the second you drafted him for fantasy this year.
Oh fuck, I did, didn't I? I don't even want to know what's
Yes,
happening.
you
in there.
did.
He is of the 12 drivers that we have, he is the lowest
Yeah, no shit. He's right.
by a lot.
It's okay. It's gonna win important. Just watch.
Yeah, he's closer to each of Taylor's group of like the 6 car. Like Simpson's got 138, Siegel's got 98 in the 6 car. So Pourchaire has
Ooh.
75 in his 3 races.
God damn it.
So yeah, that's where Kiffin's at this year.
Ugh.
Okay, anyway, fine. It wasn't a good year. Okay, we started this conversation earlier. Let's finish off on this. Kyle Larson versus Max Verstappen. And Steven, why are you so wrong on this?
I don't know.
Although, hold on, did you guys see that? I don't know where it was said. It was on Twitter. I don't know if it was real or not, but apparently Max Verstappen had like commented saying that Larson is like a more well-rounded driver than he is.
Yeah, he did an interview with Ash Vandelay.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is legit.
Yeah,
And I think
he basically, that was his whole thing. He's like, yeah, he's probably he can't do dirt.
But
He
whatever.
said like,
Yeah.
Verstappen's like, I can't do dirt. Like, I wouldn't know how that can go.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and I think that's where you can sort of differentiate different people's arguments on how they're approaching it, and that's where stances get developed. So my stance is based on how we did our rankings last week, where it's just there's no practice. It's just you show up to a track one day, you get like the random wheel of how you're gonna race it, whether it's dirt or open wheel or stock car or supercars or whatever. And I think that if you put it to that criteria, I would take Larson because he's a little more well-rounded and can probably beat Verstappen in a couple extra disciplines. Now, if you were to say, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put motorsports in the Olympics, and 2 years beforehand, here's the track, here's what you're racing in. Everybody go have fun. That's where you can say, well, I think Verstappen would learn the car quicker and figure it out, and he would have the edge over Larson in a race at that point when you have prep time, when you can get in the sim and do that. Personally, that's where my stance is. I think if you give Verstappen time to prep and he can just like in the off season have his fridge full of Red Bulls next to him and just sit and pound laps all winter, I think he would do better than Larson in the end.
Okay, so your argument is that Larson is better than Verstappen simply because he does the dirt racing and stuff also, and is better and more disciplined.
Yeah, he's more what? Yeah, he's more again. For the criteria of how we did it.
Based on that exact logic, Alex Bowman is also better than Max Verstappen.
He would definitely beat him in the dirt cars.
Yeah, but dirt racing can't be the only thing that would make you like the best well-rounded driver. Like whether or not you could race in the dirt.
Like I'll say, let's be honest. Both these men are fucking insane, and they do nothing but eat, breathe, and sleep racing.
Well, we went over it.
Yes.
We went over it last week. Verstappen has been destroying his teammate for the last 3 years.
He needs competition in sim racing. Actually,
he needs someone to go against. Kyle Larson missed races, and he was until like the last 2 weeks was still sitting on top of the NASCAR standings. I think he's still like 4th, which is still stupid considering he missed a race.
Tyler Reddick has come out of nowhere too.
That too, yeah. So like yes, they're both just you know what's funny is the Verstappen's response to this of, well, everybody's just good. I think because he said the same thing, like, yeah, he's a more well-rounded driver than I am, and I couldn't hold anything on dirt, and open wheels on an oval would be tougher, and he'd have an advantage there because he's at least done some laps. Done some laps, and also he knows oval racing, so he would have a edge on strategy. So, and yeah, Kyle Larson is still 3rd.
Yeah, it's nuts. But yeah, like I think if you're looking at it, Max can win in an open wheel F1 car. That's not gonna be a competition. He'd dominate that.
Yeah.
Right.
Karting.
Yeah, like
I'd probably give the advantage to Max too. If you're talking now like sports cars, like if we're going like GT3, GT4, LMP2, hypercars. I'd probably give the advantage to Max there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Supercars, maybe they handle maybe like a NASCAR, but if you put a NASCAR even on a road course and give them both prep time, would Max find speed on that? You've seen guys come over and do well, like Shane Van Gisbergen.
There you go.
SVG there.
Yeah, but I think
SVG.
in the end, it does sort of come down to what Max was saying in that interview as well, is that the best drivers would be able to pick up the new techniques and the new style that you have to drive very quickly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, both of these guys are going to would be sitting at the top. If you were just to throw like the top 5 drivers from each series into a random pool, however you want to do it, these guys would probably be at the top.
Alex Blow. Yep. But like, I like how we can have these conversations nowadays, because drivers are not as exclusive to a series as they once were.
Yep.
Like, growing up, the only ever driver who would do anything besides NASCAR was Tony Stewart, who would do like dirt racing and like, you know, he did the double Indy and stuff like that. Like, he was that guy who kind of dabbled in the other things. But like, you're seeing everyone nowadays, from like F1 guys who will do the sim racing and do sports cars and sim racing. You see NASCAR guys. You see guys doing Daytona like 24 hours. I think guys have said they want to do Le Mans. We're getting into an era where I think drivers want to compete in more things, and I don't know if some ego is coming back into it where they do want to win everything, which I think is really cool, because we haven't had that for like the last 20 years, where everyone was, okay, almost every driver grew up being like, I want to be this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And when that evaporated, there was never a career path. Like, now you're seeing a whole bunch of guys like wanting to go say F1. Okay, F1's not a career path. Okay, now what can I do? I can go IndyCar, I can go Formula E, I can go
Endurance.
IMSA WEC. Like, I have options of where I want my career to go. You're seeing a guy is coming up like Connor Zilic, who is a really good oval driver. He won again in ARCA again. But he's also doing like MX5 Cup. He's done IMSA races. Like, he's also not specializing in one specific category. He's keeping his options open. And he's a guy I'd love to see in IndyCar. I think he would absolutely kill it there. I don't think IndyCar has the money for him. I think a team in NASCAR will throw more money at him to get him in NASCAR
and keep him there.
Yeah, then an IndyCar team will throw money to get him into there. But like, you're seeing again these young talents coming up who, where do they go? What happens? It's interesting to see. Right, like a guy like Callum Ilott, rode to F1, kind of died, gets to IndyCar, now into sports cars.
It wasn't kind of died. It's just he didn't have anywhere to go because there wasn't an F1 seat. He couldn't go back to F2, right? Like, F1 is their own worst enemy when it comes to now hemorrhaging talent.
Listen, Drive to Survive is the enemy for that. Listen, I have a whole theory that Drive to Survive has killed F1 because it keeps people in the sport that shouldn't be, entirely based on marketability alone, not on talent-wise.
Well, I mean, there's also things F1 can do to, not lose talent and possibly bring in more. Adding another team to the grid, but you're just not doing it.
And on that note, we're getting a call from F1. We can't do this anymore. We're getting shut down. You pissed off F1 gods or something. I don't know. But yeah, you're totally right.
And you can
Bottas maybe shouldn't be in the sport anymore. Hulkenberg maybe shouldn't be in the sport. I don't necessarily think Magnussen. Ricardo is holding on to a career based on his Drive to Survive reputation alone.
Yeah. Like, the thread is so small, but
there's 4 guys you can easily replace.
Yeah.
And then 2 extra seats from an extra team if F1 can get their head out of their ass.
But no.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what was it? We also talked 2 weeks ago where it was like, yeah, there's F2 and F3 guys that are saying, well, even if I win my series in the next 2 years, I don't see myself getting a seat somewhere. I'm just going to say, fuck it now. I'm going to jump over to Indy, get used to the IndyCar style of racing, and get a head start there because I might actually have a career there.
Yeah, take your F2 budget, go run Indy Lights instead. Like, Jamie Chadwick's doing that, and she also had a bad wreck at Gateway. I don't know if you saw that one.
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, she went to pass the guy, and the guy just kind of drifted over and blocked, and they locked, and they went hard on the inside.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I was like, not Chadwick's fault. But she's someone who's basically said, fuck it, there is no path for me in Europe. I'm going to North America.
Yeah.
Yeah, you win W Series 3 times. Okay, and I'm still not getting offers for an F2 or F3 seat. Why the fuck am I going to stay here?
Yeah.
I'm going to win it a 4th time? Cool, fantastic.
Oh, you're actually going to completely destroy the series and try to reboot it as Formula Academy, apparently? Yeah. Anyway, on that note. Anything else? Or is that it? Or is that all?
No, I think that's basically it.
Okay.
We're back to a triple hit.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
We are right. Steven is wrong.
Yeah, that checks out. Okay. Sorry, you were saying, Steven, something about triple header or something?
Yeah, we got another triple header.
I stole his thunder. He's now upset. Aww.
No.
Aww. It's okay. You can bring the energy back if you want.
Nah.
Finish off with a high note.
Nah.
Come on.
Nah, you ruined it.
Do it.
Too bad.
Well, fine. On that note, we will wrap up. Thank you very much for listening to this episode. We'll be back next week. Remember to do all the things, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. Be like, hey, listen to this. All that stuff. Thank you, and goodbye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Spare Parts Racing podcast. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and follow the show on Twitter at Spare Parts Racing. That's Spare Parts RACIN, and on TikTok at Spare Parts Pod. Follow the hosts at Sean Chavarella, at Stephen Clary, and at Tay Moore.